All right, Shalom. First, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachak Kodash, double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. Real quick, all right, this just gonna be, just like a little add-on, okay, to this especially this precept right here, all right, that the elder was doing a video on, okay, and concerning Esther 8 and 17, all right, and he basically broke it down. All right, going into it says here, and in every province and in every city, whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came. All right, and this was Xerxes, okay, or Ahasuerus. All right, the Jews had joy and gladness, and a feast and a good day, and many of the people of the land became Jews, for the fear of the Jews fell upon them. All right, and then you have people that will try to say that, oh, this means that those people were like they basically became Jakes or became Israelites, which that's not how it works. That's like saying um how I put it like this, the freaking Chinese people took over, they took over and be out of fear. A lot of us started, basically becoming quote unquote Chinese, all right, or Chinized, and we start, doing whatever they do, or even uh, 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 Japanese or whatever, East Indians, and we start dressing like Indians and dancing like them and all that stuff. That doesn't mean we're Indians, okay? We're still Jake, all right. But when you go into it, it says they became Jews, all right. When you go into the word became, which you went into that, it says to become a Jew in fact or fraud, become Judaized, all right. And so basically, they weren't real Jews. They just like Esau today. Okay. Now the point I really wanted to make, all right, was how this is similar, okay, to the time of the Maccabees, where it says that the Jews, all right, became Greeks, all right, in the sense they became Hellenized, all right, which the word Hellen means Greek, all right. So they became Hellenized, but that doesn't mean that the Israelites became Edomites, okay. It just means that they started keeping the customs of the Greeks and trying to live like the Greeks, okay. So I'm gonna read from verse 10 on down. This is First Maccabees 1 verse 10. It says, and they came out of them a wicked root. All right, and this is talking about the generals, all right, of Alexander, which it says, and they came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, and this is Antiochus the fourth, all right, Epiphanes, which the them that he came out of was Seleucus, because when you go back, that was Antiochus the fourth was a descendant, all right, of Seleucus the first, all right, Nicator, and so it says, son of Antiochus the king, and that was Antiochus the third, because Antiochus isn't really a name; it's more of like a title. Okay, just like you have pharaohs, all right, and you have the Ptolemies. Okay, Antiochus was one of those. So that's why at the end they have their actual names, which and Epiphanes wasn't even his real name. His original name was Mithridates, before he became called before he was called Antiochus Epiphanes. So it says son of Antiochus the king, which was Antiochus the third. All right. It says who had been an hostage at Rome. Yeah, because when you research it, Antiochus Epiphanes had to serve as hostage instead of his father. Okay, and because his father Antiochus the third had actually lost to Rome, all right, and they had an agreement, which I'm gonna just type it in here. It was called the Treaty of let me see, Amapeia, something like that. Let me pull it up real quick. Apamea, Slovakia. That's what it's called. All right. and it tells you, it says the Treaty of Apamea of 188 BC was a peace treaty between the Roman Republic and Antiochus III. All right, which was, and that's this Antiochus the king that it speaks about here. Okay, and it says the ruler of the Seleucid Empire. It took place after the Romans' victories in the Battle of Thermopylae in 191 BC, in the Battle of Magnesia in 190 BC, after Roman and Rhodian naval victories over the Seleucid navy. Now, trying to find, yeah, it says here, these are basically the uh the conditions to the treaty. All right. And the main part I'm trying to get is here. It says Antiochus was further barred from recruiting mercenaries from Roman territory, nor entertaining fugitives from the same. Antiochus had to give 20 hostages, all right, whom the Roman consul would select. The hostages should be changed every third year, except the son of Antiochus, all right. And that's why it tells you here that it says, and out of them came a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, all right, which was son of Antiochus the third, which is the Antiochus the king here, who had been hostage at Rome. Why? Because of that, the Treaty of Apamea, where Antiochus Epiphanes served, all right, as hostage instead of his father, all right. So it goes on and says, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. In those days, all right, now here's the part. It says, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant, a deal, an agreement with the heathen that are round about us, for since we have departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well, all right. And making that covenant, they basically, like, it'll tell you, they went and got license from the king to do after the ordinances of the heathen. They became Hellenized, all right. So basically, it goes on and says, then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathen, all right. And at that time, that was the Greeks, all right. It says, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen, which was basically they built a gym, a gymnasium, which when you go into that word, I believe is gym. Let me see. Gymno. There it is, gymno, because that's where the word gymnasium comes from. When you break it up, the word gymno, all right, says here, word forming element meaning naked, stripped bare. From Greek gymnos, naked, unclad, bare, mere. From a metathesis, suffix form of NOGW, naked. Okay, so in the gym, all right, which let's look up the word gymnasium. It was a place of exercise. It says gymnasium, place of exercise, from Latin gymnasium, school of gymnastics, a public place where athletic exercises were practiced, gymnastic schools, and bodily exercises, so on and so forth. All right, but it was big. Well, look at that. Exercise or train literally or figuratively. Literally, to train naked. All right. From gymnos, naked. All right. From a metathesis. Yeah, I read that already. All right. So and that was that was a part of the heathenistic ways. All right, that Jake wanted to do, and in turn becoming Hellenized, all right, or Greekatized. Now, the Greeks, all right, that we read of here, Antiochus, he was an Edomite, okay, but Jake becoming Hellenized or Jake becoming Greekatized doesn't mean that they became Edomites, all right. It just means that they started living like the Edomites, like the Greeks, I should say, okay, keeping Greek customs, speaking Greek, stopping the circumcision of their children, you know, and they pass that on from generation to generation to generation. So when you read in the New Testament, when it says Paul, all right, went to the Greeks and he says there's no difference between a Greek or Jew, is because they were both Israelites, All right. However, one was keeping the customs of their forefathers, which was the Jews, the scriptures, all right, the laws. But another was living like a Greek. All right, they were Hellenized. Okay, so that's why he said there's no difference, because by blood they're both Jews, they're both Israelites. All right, but on the outward value, one would be considered a Greek because he spoke Greek, or he looked and dressed and acted like them and kept their customs and so on and so forth. All right. Um, so I'm gonna go back here. I think there's a little bit more. So here it says, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen. All right. So they basically, which it wasn't all the Israelites. All right, because you had the Hasmoneans. All right, or the Maccabees. All right, they basically, and those that were with them fought against that. Okay, but majority of Jake, all right, became Hellenized. All right, so you could say they became Greeks. All right, just as here it says what, many of the people of the land became Jews. They didn't actually become Israelites, not by nation or by seed, okay, but by trying to keep the customs of Jake. All right, and the same thing here when it says many of them, basically when they became Greeks or they became Hellenized, they didn't physically, all right, or by seed become Edomites. They just started keeping the customs of the Greeks. All right, like this, the gymnasium, training naked. That's what the word means. It says what? And made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief. Okay, so this was a form of them becoming Greeks, not by blood, not by seed, but by custom. Okay, and that's the same thing you see here. So an example here of them becoming Jews, you could say they started basically living like the Jews. You know, the things that we would do, they would try to do the same. You know, so it says let me see. Yeah, uh, yeah. I think yeah. That's. I guess that's the main part. All right, that was the main point that I wanted to hit. You know, because as I was listening to it, the spirit just hit me, and it sounded exactly just like this. You know, it's very similar. So through the spirit, I wanted to do a video on this, and Lord willing, this is edifying unto the elect. Once again, showing you the importance. All right, of going into the history and going into the words. Okay, because if you reading it at face value, all right, just like that, you say, oh, cool, they became, oh, okay, all right, cool. But there's more to it than that. Okay, you have to give it like a diligent search. You have to really look into it to get what it really is talking about. All right. But Lord willing, this video is edifying unto the elect. Call hello Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai and Shalom.